Hello everyone, welcome back to How Will It End? Today, we're going back to 1991 to explain an adventure movie titled White Fang. Watch out for spoilers ahead. In a certain desert, a young wolf strolls out of its hole into the open. We come to know this wolf as White Fang. Later, a small pack of wolves chase after a little rabbit. They capture it eventually, and White Fang's mother brings the carcass into the hole, dropping it for him. She then passionately watches as he feeds on the meal. In the next scene, there is a bustling of a large group of people loading up dogs. A handsome young lad, Jack Conroy, is seen staring closely at a dog in its cage. He is lashed by a stern-faced man named Beauty against being eaten by it. "You could be his breakfast," he says. He then begins to mistreat the dog, which Jack does not support and wants him to stop. But he wouldn't stop as he says he owns the dog. You can tell Jack looks scared to his core. As Jack moves on, Beauty tags along, asking him if he has come for the gold. Jack tells him yes. He later introduces him to his two friends, Luke and Tinker. The three keep up with Jack as he walks on. He becomes really scared. He asks if they know Alex Larson. They confess that they don't, although after having pranked him about having knowledge of this person. Jack is bothered by their company, and he tries to make them go back. They later leave him alone after he confronts one of them, but they outsmart him by robbing him, which he doesn't know about until they have vanished from his face. After all the caution, this is still what he gets. In the midst of Jack's troubles, he finds two elderly men standing in front of him and tells them his ordeal. They both just welcome him to yuck on to help him see what he just faced as being a norm in the town. He asks these two men how high the golden staircase is, and they answer him. Then immediately, he leaves for the golden staircase. A troop of people are climbing the mountain with their bags strapped to their backs. The golden staircase has a rope that runs from the very top through to the base of the mountain for people to hold onto as they climb. When he gets to the top of the mountain, he asks again for Alex Larson from two men. They point him to his shed and they leave. Jack goes to Alex Larson's shed and finds him tying a coffin onto a wooden bobsled outside, carrying the body of a man named Dutch. He tells Alex his father sent him his maps before he died and also some gold dust, and needs him to take him to his father's claim. Alex tells him the gold dust is insignificant to finding the gold. He therefore advises him to go back home and get a regular job. Alex introduces Jack as Scott Conroy's son to Clarence Thurston, known also as Skunker. They both make a hard choice of taking him along on their trip considering the risks. In all, they agree to take him as far as Klondike. They set off, with dogs pulling the wooden bobsled, and Alex controlling the dogs as he stands on the sled. Jack is behind and very much exhausted. He looks back and sees a wolf trailing behind them far into the woods. Skunker comes to him and immediately fires his rifle into the air to scare it off. Later, as it's getting dark, they settle for a rest and make a bonfire. Alex starts to get rid of some of Jack's stuff. He says the dogs shouldn't have to drag it for him. It's for the dogs to save strength. Don't think Alex is being mean. He's only taking precautions. They get through the night and return on their journey. When they get to a steep slope, they try to get around it, but Jack trips when he attempts to save his books and the bobsled leans over. Both Jack and the bobsled slide down the slope with Dutch's body popping out from the coffin. It slides across the water on ice and stops. Jack moves closer to the body to pick up his backpack, which is lying beside it. He ignores Skunker's warning for him not to walk on the ice. In the meantime, the ice breaks and both he and the corpse drop straight into the water. The other two come to rescue him immediately. They pull him out with a rope and help him take off his clothes to rid him of the ice cold. They also bring Dutch's body out of the water. Later in the night, they are invaded by wolves. In Skunker's attempt to save his best dog, Digger, from the invading wolves, he unloads his barrel at one of them, rendering it injured. But because Digger wouldn't come back, Skunker runs after it into the pack and he's terminated. Skunker doesn't die for his dog. He dies with it. What a hero. Later on, more wolves come to attack Alex and Jack, but they are able to wave them off with fire sticks. They throw fire sticks at the wolves as they emerge. They also surround themselves with fire to sleep peacefully. In the morning, as they pick up to get going on their journey, they are again attacked by the wolves but are saved by the gunshot of some other hunters. The hunter discloses that he has only come to their aid because he saw some smoke from afar. The female wolf which Skunker shot is seen crawling to the entrance of her home where she dies. White Fang sees this and becomes upset. He leaves out from his home and begins to move around. Jack sees him and loves him immediately. White Fang flees when Jack tries to call him over to himself. He later runs into a trap. Some foreigners come over to pick him up. They check him out and find it's White Fang and conclude it's part dog. Part dog means that it is a mixed dog wolf, so they adopt it for work. Later, Alex and Jack bring Dutch where Alex had promised he'd bury him. Alex also brings Jack to Klondike. He advises him to get a partner and departs. Later on, Jack meets Belinda Casey, Alex's wife. Jack finds a partner to take him to his father's claim. That partner is still no other than Alex. He helps him build his boat and they set off. They first stop by at Han, India, where Jack meets Grey Beaver. He is keeping White Fang for his work and calls him Miatuk, which means White Fang. Jack begins to stalk White Fang. Suddenly, a bear attacks him in the bush and he quickly runs into a wood nest. The bear runs after him and attempts to pull off the nest from over him. As plot armor would have it, White Fang comes just in time and helps Jack scare off the bear. As they are about to leave for his father's mine, Jack promises never to forget White Fang for saving him. Both Jack and Alex set off again on the boat. They get to the hut in no time. Jack suggests to Alex that they should look for gold around his father's mine. They kick off and start to sift the sands of the land. In another scene, White Fang passes by a particular house and a dog starts to bark at him fiercely. The owner of the dog lets it loose so it can attack to see what happens. The dog gets injured in the end. The owner of the dog then buys White Fang off Grey Beaver's hands in order to make some more money from dog fights. White Fang wins the first, second, and the last of the fights. Mr. Sykes brings a bulldog for the dog fight. This bulldog injures White Fang so bad. Jack and Alex invade the dog fight yard and rescue White Fang. They wrap him up in bandages and pull him on a wooden stretcher into Alex's home. Funny how you thought he would win this too. Jack tries to tame White Fang once again. He unhooks him to see what he'll do, but he bites him. The second day, he feeds him bit by bit, throwing the food closer to himself on every toss. He does this until White Fang is able to eat the food from his hands and he too is able to touch his head until eventually he rubs him softly on the head. He does this and White Fang becomes tamed. From his sleep, Alex hears Jack playing with the wolf and immediately puts on his clothes and reaches for his rifle, just in case. White Fang becomes fierce at the sight of the rifle, but Jack asks Alex to put down the gun and reassures him that White Fang won't hurt him. To show Alex this, he puts his arm forward close to his snout to play with. His hand is between White Fang's teeth, but he doesn't bite him. I know what you're thinking, and no, please don't try this with a wolf. In the next scene, as they work in Jack's father's mine, they set off an explosion which has Jack trapped inside. White Fang and Alex both try to rescue him. He comes out and sits on the ground, tired. Suddenly, Alex notices some particles on White Fang's fur. He realizes that they are gold particles and shows it to Jack. Both of them, with White Fang, rush back inside the hut to discover the gold. Alas, there it all lies, in a small tunnel in the same house. The next day, as Jack goes to have the gold tested, he doesn't want to take White Fang with him, but from inside, he breaks through the window to go out after Jack. They both leave for town. Upon getting to his destination, Jack tenders the gold for testing. White Fang growls at the cleaner, who unfortunately happens to be a member of the dogfight gang. He runs off immediately to report the status of the White Fang's health to his boss. Jack brings news of the gold quality to Alex. The gold is found to be 98% pure. As Drizzy Drake would say, started from the bottom, now we're here. The three friends, Beauty, Tinker, and Luke, begin to stalk him as he leaves the place for the mine. First, they block the ventilation pipe. Then they take cover and start shooting randomly at them. All Jack and Alex do is stay low and find a way to breathe. With time, the three friends start burning down the house. The duo also starts putting out the fire. As the bandits try to get inside, White Fang jumps on them one after the other and saves Alex's and Jack's lives. The robbers are then arrested and taken to prison. As they set to leave for the city, Alex advises Jack to let the wolf go, since he would be a nuisance in the city. So, he sends him off after a while. Jack tells Alex he wants to stay for a little longer. He'd be sure he wants to look for his beloved wolf, now having his claim. As he mends a house, he sees White Fang far off in the distance and runs to meet him. And that is how it ended. Make sure to comment below which part of the video you loved the most. And make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.